We do it something like 20,000 times a day, and we never give it a second thought. Breathing. But what's really going on inside our bodies every single time we take a breath? Well, today, we're going to follow that one breath on its incredible journey to see how it literally keeps us alive. Let's dive in.
Go ahead, do it with me. Take a big, deep breath. Inhale, and now exhale. Feels pretty simple, right? It's totally automatic. But in that one tiny moment, your body just pulled off an incredibly complex, life-sustaining mission. So what exactly just happened?
Okay, so before we go any further, we really need to clear something up. You've probably heard the words breathing, respiration, and gas exchange thrown around, maybe even used to mean the same thing. But in biology, they're actually three very distinct ideas. And, getting this difference down is the key to understanding the whole story. So what is the difference? Well, think of it this way. Breathing is just the physical act of getting the groceries, in this case, oxygen, into the house. It's just moving the air. But respiration, that's the chemical magic that happens inside your cells. That's the cooking. It's turning those groceries into usable energy for your body. And that's where gas exchange comes in. It's the crucial link between the two. It's the handover right at the front door, where you drop off the fresh oxygen and pick up the trash, which is the carbon dioxide, to take it back out. This swap is the main event we're focusing on today. All right, let's follow a single molecule of oxygen on its trip. Imagine your respiratory system is like a giant upside-down tree. It starts with one big trunk, which then branches out into thousands and thousands of tiny little leaves. So our little oxygen molecule starts its journey down the trachea, that's your windpipe. Then it hits a fork in the road and splits into two main branches called the bronchi, one for each lung. From there, the paths just keep getting smaller and smaller, branching into thousands of tiny bronchioles, burrowing deeper and deeper into your lungs until, finally, it gets to the very end of the line. And here we are, the alveoli. These aren't just dead ends, they are the entire point of this whole trip. We have millions of these tiny, fragile air sacs, and this is the exact spot, the ground zero, where that critical gas exchange actually happens. So, our oxygen has arrived. Now it's time for the main event, the great gas exchange. How does the body get the good stuff in and the bad stuff out? Well, it doesn't use any force at all. It just relies on a super simple, really elegant law of physics. The engine behind this whole process is something called diffusion. And really, it's just a natural tendency. Think about it. Things like to spread out, right? They move from a crowded space to a less crowded one. Your body doesn't have to do any work. It just sets up the right conditions, and physics takes care of the rest. Here's how it works. That fresh air in your lungs, it's packed, it's crowded with oxygen. But the blood showing up, it's oxygen poor. So, naturally, oxygen just flows from that crowded lung space into the less crowded blood. And at the exact same time, the reverse is happening with carbon dioxide. The blood is full of this waste gas, but the air in your lungs is empty of it. So carbon dioxide flows right out of the blood, ready for you to breathe it out. It's this perfect, simultaneous two-way trade. But wait a second. What's actually pulling the air in and pushing it out in the first place? Your lungs don't do it themselves. They're actually pretty passive. No, the real work is done by a powerful team of muscles. Yup, meet the unsung heroes of the respiratory system. The diaphragm, which is this big, dome-shaped muscle right under your lungs, and the intercostal muscles, which are tucked right in between your ribs. These two work together in perfect sync to make breathing happen. So how does this team work? Well, to breathe in, your diaphragm tightens and flattens out, and your intercostal muscles pull your ribs up and out. This whole action makes your chest cavity bigger, which creates this low-pressure zone, like a vacuum, that just sucks air right in. And then to exhale, they just relax. Everything gets smaller, the pressure inside goes up, and the air is gently pushed out. It's a pretty brilliant and surprisingly simple little pump. So for this last part, I want to go back to the alveoli, because honestly, they're a true marvel of biological engineering. They are perfectly designed to make this whole diffusion thing happen as fast and efficiently as humanly possible. Their amazing efficiency really boils down to 4 genius design features: a huge surface area, paper-thin walls, a constant rich blood supply, and a moist surface. Let's just zoom in on a couple of my favorites. First up, the walls. Get this. The walls of the alveoli and the tiny blood vessels wrapped around them are just one single cell thick. That's it. It means that the distance that the oxygen and carbon dioxide have to travel is so incredibly short that the swap is practically instantaneous. And now for the surface area. This is the one that always blows my mind. If you could take all the millions of alveoli in your lungs and carefully lay them out flat, they would cover an entire tennis court. All of that gas swapping power is packed neatly inside your chest. It's just designed to maximize the efficiency of every single breath. So you put it all together. That massive surface area, the super thin walls, and that constant flow of blood, they all work together for one big reason: to keep what's called the concentration gradient as steep as possible. The blood immediately whisks oxygen away, keeping the destination empty, so that the flow of new oxygen never ever stops. It's a system that's built for non-stop, high-speed performance.
And that's the journey, from the air all around us, deep into our lungs, and finally, into the very cells that make us, us. It's a process so perfect and so efficient that it happens over 20,000 times a day, and you don't have to give a single command. It just makes you wonder, right? What other amazing things are happening inside you right now that you don't even have to think about?